3 days later, the snow has turned to slush on the Connecticut streets. Lynn drives to Willowbrook Club, her hands gripping the wheel too tightly. She tells herself it's just to pick up a forgotten portfolio from her father's study. But her stomach twists with a familiar dread she can't explain. The marble lobby smells like lemon polish and old pride. Men in suits nod politely as she walks past, unaware she once belonged here. Her heels click against the floor, steady, deliberate, rehearsed. She reaches the reading room door and freezes. Her mother's voice floats through the crack, soft but sharp. "She's becoming a problem," Mrs. N says, the tone icy under its sweetness. "If Artemis keeps growing, people will start asking questions about my..." Lynn's heart pounds. Her sister laughs, a sound she knows too well, light, fake, calculated. "Don't worry, Mother, I've handled it. I told a few clients about delays." Her father's deeper voice joins in, weary but complicit. "She's talented, but success can get to her head." A pause heavy enough to crush air itself. Lynn presses her back against the wall, breath shallow. "She doesn't even realize we've been managing her image for years," Mai continues. "I've spoken to her vendors, suggested she's struggling financially." Paper rustles, like betrayal taking physical form. Mrs. N hums approvingly. "Good, the Williamsons asked about Artemis at the Christmas party. I'd hate for them to think she's competing with their son at Goldman." Lynn's mind spins. Every canceled contract, every suspicious inspection, every lost client. It wasn't coincidence. It was them. Her own family pulling invisible strings, smiling while they tightened the noose. "She still wants our approval," her mother says. "That makes her predictable." The words hit harder than any slap. Lynn feels her throat close, but she doesn't move. 15 years of trying to prove herself reduced to a family strategy. Mai giggles again. "The Horizon contract will fall apart soon enough. I've planted doubts." Horizon. The biggest deal of Lynn's career. The partnership that could make Artemis a national name. And her sister is dismantling it piece by piece. She wants to burst in, to scream, to make them see her. But she knows better. This isn't the kitchen anymore. This is war. She steps back quietly, heart thundering, tears threatening but unspilled. Outside, snow begins to fall again, soft and cruelly peaceful. She walks to her car, each step heavier than the last. Inside the silence of the vehicle, the truth settles like stone. They were never proud of her. They were afraid of her. The engine hums to life. In the rearview mirror, the grand building glows behind her, a monument to lies. Lynn exhales slowly, a breath that feels like surrender and awakening at once. Her voice breaks the silence, quiet but certain. No more playing the obedient daughter. The car rolls forward. And for the first time in years, she drives toward freedom, not approval. The city lights blur through Lynn's windshield as she drives back to Manhattan. Her mind replays every word from that room, sharp as broken glass. By the time she reaches the Artemis Events headquarters, anger has turned to focus. The office is quiet, just the hum of computers and the faint scent of coffee. Min looks up from her desk, surprise flashing in her eyes. "You're back early," she says, then notices Lynn's face. "What happened?" "They know," Lynn answers, voice low but steady. "My family's been sabotaging Artemis for years." Hawang enters moments later, carrying a folder of invoices. He freezes at the sight of Lynn's expression. "Sit," she says simply. They gather in the glass-walled conference room, Manhattan glowing beyond them. Min opens her laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. "Tell me everything." Lynn recounts the conversation word for word. Every insult, every calculation, every betrayal. When she finishes, the silence is thick enough to touch. Min's jaw tightens. "I suspected something," she admits. Contracts didn't just vanish. The timing was too perfect. Hoang nods, spreading documents across the table. I've been mapping client losses. Look at this pattern. Colored pins mark each cancellation, each financial blow. All of them align with holidays, family events, charity galas. Every time Lynn saw her family, Artemis suffered. Her stomach knots again, but not from pain, clarity. They've been tracking me through connections, she murmurs. Min turns the laptop around. I've already compiled evidence. Vendor complaints, false reports, inspection logs. Hawing adds softly. They use their status to discredit you. It's deliberate. Lynn leans back in her chair, the city skyline mirrored in her eyes. They've turned family into strategy, she says. But we'll turn strategy into defense. Min straightens. So what's the plan? Lynn speaks slowly, each word deliberate. Step 1, document everything. Every incident, every rumor, every interference. Step 2, strengthen our internal systems, financial, legal, operational. Step 3, Horizon must never doubt us. Hawing scribbles notes, his voice calm but fierce. I'll order a full third-party audit, certified and sealed. Min nods. And I'll start a timeline of family-linked disruptions. They move with precision, no wasted motion, no fear. Outside, the city keeps moving, unaware of the small war declared inside this room. Lynn watches her team work, pride mixing with exhaustion. These aren't colleagues. They're the family she chose. She stands, her voice softer now. For 15 years, I built Artemis from scratch. They thought I was just cooking. Min glances up, eyes fierce. Then it's time to serve them the truth. A thin smile forms on Lynn's lips. We'll start tomorrow. Hawing looks up. Tomorrow. She nods, gaze steady. I've spent my life reacting to them. Now they'll react to me. The city lights flicker like sparks of resolve through the glass. And in that quiet, Lynn's war truly begins. The next afternoon, Lynn arrives at Bellini's 20 minutes early. The restaurant hums with quiet luxury, crystal light dancing across marble floors. She asks for a table by the window, where every word can be seen, not hidden. Her hands are steady now, though her heart beats like distant thunder. She arranges the papers on the table, reports, call logs, inspection files. Each sheet is a wound turned into evidence. At exactly 12:15, Mai walks in, glowing in a cream suit and pearls. She smiles, the same smile that fooled everyone except Lynn. Sis, you look exhausted, she says, sliding into the chair. Running that little company must be draining. Lynn meets her gaze without flinching. It was, she says. Until I discovered who's been calling health inspectors. Mai laughs softly, too loud for comfort. What are you talking about? Lynn slides the first paper across the table. The inspector's report. The caller said she was family. Mai's smile falters, just for a second before she recovers. You're imagining things, she says, voice crisp, eyes darting to the waiter. Lynn doesn't blink. Then maybe you can explain the vendor emails. Another paper slides forward. 3 complaints filed within 48 hours, after every family dinner. The air between them sharpens. Mai leans back, feigning boredom. You're overreacting. Not everything is about you. Before Lynn can answer, a familiar perfume cuts through the air. Her mother approaches, elegant and composed, every step rehearsed. Girls, Mrs. N says sweetly, what is all this tension? Evidence, Lynn replies. Of sabotage. Mrs. N's smile freezes. That's a serious word, Lynn. So are fraud and defamation, Lynn says quietly. Mai glances at her mother, panic flickering beneath the perfect mask. Mrs. N sits, lowering her voice. We only wanted to protect you. Your reputation affects all of us. Lynn laughs softly, but there's no humor in it. You weren't protecting me. You were protecting your image. The surrounding tables grow quieter. Silverware slows. A few diners glance over. Mrs. Ann's tone hardens. This isn't the place for drama. Lynn's voice stays even. 33 years of silence was the drama. This is truth. Mai leans forward, whispering harshly. I called the inspector because I care. You were careless. You lied, Lin corrects her. You created fake problems to destroy my business. Her mother reaches for her arm. Enough, let's talk privately. Lin shakes her head. No more private. I've lived my whole life behind your closed doors. A pause stretches long and heavy. Then Mai whispers, what do you want? I want you to stop. And if we do? Lin gathers the papers neatly. Then the next meeting will be with lawyers. She stands, placing cash on the table for all 3 meals. Her voice softens but stays firm. I'm done being quiet. Outside, sunlight hits the window, catching her reflection, calm, certain, free. As she walks away, her phone buzzes with a message from Min. Ready when you are. Lin smiles faintly. The battle has officially begun. Night falls over Manhattan, but the Artemis office glows with restless light. Lin stands by the window, city neon flickering against her reflection. Behind her, Min and Hoang spread papers across the conference table. Every document tells a story of sabotage and silence. Min's voice cuts through the hum of the city below. They'll strike again. The lunch wasn't enough to stop them. Hoang nods, pushing a financial report forward. I checked our vendors. Someone been contacting them, pretending to represent us. Lin doesn't flinch. Melissa won't stop, she says, catching herself. Then quieter. Mai won't stop, not while Mother's cheering her on. Min scrolls through her tablet, frowning. They've hired someone new. Vu Th letter 1EA30, PR strategist, used to work with Horizon. Lin's stomach tightens. Th letter 1EA30. The same woman who tried to smear us after that lawsuit 3 years ago, Min confirms. Hoang exhales sharply. They're planning a public strike. Media, not just rumors. Lin takes a slow breath. Then we plan, not panic. She walks to the table, her tone calm, almost surgical. Step 1, data security. I want every client record encrypted and off-site. Min nods instantly. Already started. Step 2, Lin continues. Legal prep. Draft letters to every major partner, clarifying our compliance record. Hoang adds, and a statement for the press. Yes, Lin replies. But only if they attack first. We stay professional until they break lines. Silence settles again, heavy with strategy and purpose. Outside, sirens echo faintly through the city, distant but steady. Min glances up. What about Horizon? They're still the target. Lin meets her eyes. We reinforce their trust. Full audit, open communication, 0 surprises. Hoang flips through his notes, marking key points. We'll need proof of stability. I can finalize last quarter's financials tonight. Lin smiles faintly. Good, let's make perfection our defense. Min leans forward, her tone softer. You know this isn't just business. They're trying to erase you. Lin looks out the window again, her reflection sharp against the skyline. I know, but I've already erased the version of me that needed their approval. The words hang in the air like quiet thunder. Hoang breaks the silence with a sigh. They underestimate you. That's their mistake, Lin replies. She gathers the files, aligning them with precision. We fight with truth, not rage. They can spin stories, but we own the facts. Min closes her laptop, resolve in her voice. Then let's start tomorrow with proof, not panic. Lin nods once. Tomorrow, they'll see Artemis isn't fragile, it's fireproof. The team disperses slowly, exhaustion tempered by conviction. When the door closes, Lin remains by the window. The city stretches endlessly, lights pulsing like a living heartbeat. She whispers to herself, too softly for anyone else to hear. They wanted a war, fine, but I'll be the one who ends it. And as the clock strikes midnight, she turns off the lights, ready for battle. Morning light filters through the blinds, thin and cold. Lynn stares at her buzzing phone, the name, Horizon Board, glowing on screen. She answers, her voice calm though her pulse surges. Emergency meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m., the executive says. Concerns have been raised about Artemis Events' stability. The line clicks dead. They've moved faster than she expected. Across the room, Min looks up from her computer. They've started, haven't they? Lynn nods slowly. They went straight to Horizon, direct strike. Hyang walks in holding 2 cups of coffee, already guessing the news. They're using TH letter 1EA30 to make it look official, he says grimly. She's leaking edited data, selective losses, twisted context. Lynn opens her laptop, scanning through email alerts. Vendors are panicking. Clients are asking questions. The fire has started to spread. But she doesn't flinch. Then tonight, we prepare. Every report, every fact, every receipt. Hyang's fingers fly across his keyboard. I'll print full financial audits, signed by independent firms. Min adds, I'll organize testimonials from top clients. Real people, real voices. The hours blur. By midnight, the conference room is a fortress of evidence. Stacks of reports, timelines, call records, vendor statements. Each one a shield against lies. Lynn stands at the head of the table, exhaustion shadowing her face. This isn't about proving them wrong, she says quietly. It's about proving who we are. Hoang looks up, eyes sharp behind his glasses. They'll be there, won't they? Your family. Lynn nods once. They'll want to watch me fall. Min's hand tightens on Lynn's shoulder. Then let's make sure they watch you rise instead. The next morning, Horizon's boardroom gleams with cold authority. 20 executives in tailored suits. A wall of judgment, waiting to see who will break first. Lynn walks in, steady, flanked by Min and Hoang. Across the room sit her parents and Mai, poised and polished. Beside them, Vu TH letter 1EA30 stands with a smug smile. Miss Lynn, the chairman begins, we've been presented with troubling reports. TH letter 1EA30 clicks her tablet, projecting doctored graphs and redline charts. Declining retention, inconsistent leadership, possible financial risk, she declares. Lynn waits until the screen dims. Then she opens her portfolio and slides a drive across the table. This is Artemis's full 5-year audit, verified, transparent. Hyang distributes bound copies to every board member. Min connects her tablet to the screen, displaying the real data. Client retention, 87%. Growth, consistent year over year. Whispers ripple through the room. Mai shifts uncomfortably. Mrs. Ann's painted smile falters. Lynn steps forward, voice steady as glass. What you've heard is not concern, it's sabotage. She gestures to the evidence, emails, call logs, inspection reports. Each line traces back to familiar names. Her father looks down. Her mother's eyes flash with panic. TH letter 1EA30 stammers. These are private matters. Not anymore, Lynn replies. The chairman clears his throat. This appears personal, not professional. Silence fills the room. Then he stands, eyes fixed on Lynn. Horizon values integrity. You've shown it today. He extends his hand. The contract remains yours. Relief sweeps the room like air after a storm. Lynn exhales slowly, her gaze locked on her mother. Now you know, she says softly. This is who I am. As she leaves the boardroom, applause rises behind her. For the first time, it isn't pity, it's respect. 6 months later, the ballroom glows with gold light and quiet triumph. Lynn stands on stage, a crystal award gleaming in her hands. Applause fills the air, warm and genuine, not polite and hollow. She smiles, steady, no trace of the trembling girl from last Christmas. Success, she begins, her voice carrying through the hall, requires both skill and boundaries. Her reflection shimmers on the silver microphone. The Artemis Foundation was created for women whose families never believed in them. From the front row, Min watches proudly, eyes bright with pride. Hawing sits beside her, calm, content, the quiet guardian of numbers and truth. When Lin steps off the stage, they greet her with champagne and laughter. To boundaries, Min says, clinking glasses. And to the family we choose, Lin answers, smiling softly. Around them, the city's elite applaud, whispering her name with admiration. Reporters call her the face of independent success, the phoenix of the industry. Horizon's global expansion under Artemis has surpassed every projection. 15 years of quiet struggle finally met with recognition, not resistance. Near the entrance, Lin spots them, her parents and Mai. They stand uncertain, invitations clutched like apologies too late to matter. Lin crosses the room with calm grace, her gown trailing like quiet thunder. Her mother's voice trembles first. "Your speech was beautiful, Lin." "Thank you," Lin replies, professional, polite, untouchable. Her father clears his throat. "The Miami expansion, impressive work." She nods once. The Horizon partnership opened doors. Mai studies her, eyes flickering between envy and regret. "You did it," she whispers. Lin smiles faintly. "I always could. I just stopped asking for permission." A pause stretches, fragile as glass. Then she excuses herself, walking toward the mayor waiting to shake her hand. The night swells with music and laughter again. Outside, snow begins to fall soft, slow, forgiving. Lin steps onto the terrace, the city glittering below like a promise kept. Min joins her, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders. "You changed everything," she says quietly. "No," Lin answers, eyes fixed on the skyline. "I just stopped letting them change me." Hawing appears with his usual calm smile. Artemis reports a 35% revenue increase. The board approved new offices. "Miami and Denver," Min adds, raising her glass. Lin laughs softly. Then it's only the beginning. Inside, the gala continues, women shaking hands, exchanging stories, believing again. A year ago, she served dinner in her parents' kitchen. Now she serves inspiration in a room full of power. When the music fades, she glances back once more. Her mother watches from afar, a quiet nod of surrender in her eyes. Lin turns away, light catching the edge of her award. Freedom shines brighter than crystal. As she leaves the ballroom, the snow thickens, erasing footprints behind her. Each step forward feels like truth, earned, chosen, unbreakable. This time, she isn't running from the past. She's walking toward her own future. 1 year later, snow drifts softly over the city skyline. Inside the Artemis Foundation gala, laughter mingles with piano music. Lin walks among the guests, her name spoken with admiration, not pity. Posters line the walls, women entrepreneurs she's helped launch their dreams. Each face reminds her what freedom looks like. Min greets donors with grace, Hawing handles the press with quiet pride. They built this together, brick by brick, truth by truth. At the back of the hall, Lin's father approaches, older, quieter, humbled. "Your grandmother would be proud," he says softly. Lin nods, eyes calm. "She taught me that talent deserves respect." He smiles faintly, then steps away, leaving her in peace. Outside, snowflakes glimmer under streetlights like fragments of forgiveness. Lin stands beside the window, watching the city breathe below. A year ago, she was the invisible daughter in a crowded dining room. Now she's the woman who built her own table. Min joins her, linking arms, their reflections framed in gold light. Next year's gala will be bigger, brighter, louder. Lin smiles. "When family shows you who they are," she whispers, "believe them, then build the life you deserve."